Welcome everybody. Today's presentation is how to lower cholesterol naturally. I'm going to go over why we want to lower our LDL cholesterol, why we don't want to just take cholesterol lowering drugs, which foods increase our cholesterol levels, which foods lower our cholesterol levels, and at the end we're going to do a Q&A, so get your questions ready. And then we're going to have a raffle to win Dr. Michael Greger's book. And this is what today's presentation is on. I'm going to try to have my energy as high as Dr. Michael Greger. That's going to be pretty tiring, but it'll warm me up. My name is Nina. I'm a certified personal trainer, certified fitness coach. I have a certification in fitness nutrition, and I have 5 published books. One is on nutrition. It has all my plant-based recipes called the High Five Diet. And I have a new book that was just published. It's a detox. If you have an autoimmune condition, it will basically get rid of it. And I got rid of most of my autoimmune conditions in less than 6 weeks. And it happens for most people. I attended Dr. Michael Greger's 2.5-hour webinar. And today I'm giving you the highlights. So we're not going to be here that long. It's going to be much shorter. So let's start with why we want to lower our LDL cholesterol. So a high LDL, the higher it is, the more likely you're going to have a heart attack, a stroke. You're going to have reduced blood flow. And why that's important is no man wants ED, erectile dysfunction. And we also want to have good blood flow, because if you have poor blood flow, that can be the trigger of back pain, because if your blood flow is minimized, you're not going to get the nutrients into your spine. So the nutrients are healing. So we want as good blood flow as possible. Reduced blood flow also can cause hair loss. So as we get older, our LDL cholesterol might get higher, which is typical. And then you'll notice your hair falling out more and you'll have thinning hair. It also reduces healing. So we want good blood flow. A high LDL also increases our risk of all dementia, especially Alzheimer's. And the reason why is Alzheimer's and dementias are vascular disorders. And also a high LDL is directly linked to type 2 diabetes. That's why people who have diabetes are on all sorts of medications, including cholesterol lowering medication. So why don't we just want to get a statin to lower our cholesterol? Well, one reason is these drugs only lower our chance of a heart attack by 1%. But you might be that 1%, so maybe you do want to take a statin. It's up to you. So there are side effects for every medication. There is no medication that has no side effects. So we need to weigh the pros and the cons. So the side effects of these cholesterol lowering medications include weight gain, hair loss, rashes, diarrhea, kidney failure, memory loss, increased blood sugars, liver and pancreas inflammation, muscle pain, muscle loss, and muscle damage. As a personal trainer, I work really hard to keep my muscles, so I don't want to do anything that's going to damage my muscles. The foods that raise our cholesterol, and this might surprise some of you, are peanuts, peanut butter, oils, dairy, meat, poultry, fish, eggs, and coconut. So you'll notice that this is a variety of foods. So why do all these foods raise our cholesterol? Well, peanuts, it's a nut, but it's high in fat. Oils are high in fat. They're all fat. Oils, high in fat. Dairy, definitely high in fat, especially saturated fat. Fish, eggs, coconut, high in fat. So high fat foods like these will raise our cholesterol. The more you eat, the higher your cholesterol will be. Also, animal flesh contains cholesterol. So eggs, chicken, yes, poultry contains cholesterol, and fish. A lot of people were like, what? Fish? Fish doesn't contain cholesterol. It definitely does. And the heme iron, Heme iron in meat raises cholesterol. So that's why a lot of the doctors say if you have high cholesterol, limit meat. Poultry and fish increase heart disease risk by 57%. Well, what's the evidence, you say? Dr. Ornish, in collaboration with Harvard Medical, did a series of studies scientifically proven in peer-reviewed randomized trials, reversed heart disease, and improved cognition in early-stage Alzheimer's patients. Also, Dr. Esselstyn, who knows Dr. Esselstyn? Excellent. He did a study at the Cleveland Clinic, and this study was published in 1995 in the American Journal of Cardiology that a low-fat, plant-based diet, a vegan diet, also reversed heart disease, lowered LDL cholesterol, produced weight loss if the people followed it. In Newsweek, the number of young people ages 20 to 49, their rates of colorectal cancer has doubled since the 1990s. Why is that? You've probably read the headlines recently. All these young people are getting colorectal cancer, and that is alarming. Young people, we always think of this as a person for someone who's a senior citizen, they're older. But all these young people are getting more cancer, they're getting more heart disease. And you know, a child as young as 5 has been found to have heart disease and high cholesterol. It's what we're eating and what we're not eating. So these young people are getting cancer and heart disease and colorectal cancer because they're eating more ultra processed foods. They're also eating higher fat diets. They're not eating at home anymore. They're going out to restaurants, eating fried foods, lots of meat. They're also eating less fiber. Most people don't even eat beans anymore, which are high in fiber. And they're eating fewer fruits and vegetables. The Adventist Health Study, too. So they did several studies. In this particular study, the second study they did, and they have 6 decades of studies with over 60,000 participants under the age of 30 enrolled around between 2002 to 2006. They found that the vegans, those are people who do not eat any animal products, no dairy, no eggs, no fish, they have the lowest BMI, body mass index. They have the lowest rate of diabetes, and they have the lowest incidence of heart disease. So you may be saying, wait a minute, the 2025 guidelines say to do something different than what you're saying. Let's go over this. The new guidelines say we need to limit alcohol, which is good, but why are we telling people to limit alcohol when we know alcohol is bad and there's no healthy amount that we should be drinking? Really, it should be don't drink alcohol. There's no safe amount. Number 2, they said don't eat processed foods. What's a processed food, right? That's a little up in the air. There's actually some processed foods that are healthy for us, like oatmeal. That's a processed food, right? How about almond milk? That's a processed food. Tofu, processed food. There's lots of processed foods that are actually good for us. They have nutrition. Pasta, yeah, whole grain pasta. You know, and so what really we're talking about that's unhealthy is ultra processed foods. So we know soda is not a healthy food. And soda, which is not just high in sugar, it has all sorts of flavorings, does increase chances of type 2 diabetes, even though it's low in fat. So the dietary guidelines says to eat more fruit and vegetables. All right, happy dance. Definitely, we all need to eat more fruit and vegetables. And it says not to eat sugar. No sugar, we're not talking carbohydrates. We're not talking glucose. We're talking coconut sugar, sugar from sugar cane, processed sugar like honey and maple syrup. All those, we want to limit our sugar consumption. And then they tell us to eat more meat and dairy. The pyramid, which actually we haven't had the food pyramid for years, and they flipped it upside down. This is where we're living now. We're living in an upside down world. Where up is down and down is up. So in the old pyramid, meat and dairy was at the bottom of the pyramid. So they flipped it. Or the other way, where they want the meat and dairy at the top. Like, what is going on? Did something happen to show more meat and dairy is needed? But then, this is where it gets a little weird and funky. They're telling us to reduce saturated fat. Okay, you can't eat more meat and dairy and at the same time reduce saturated fat, because meat and dairy is high in saturated fat. And if people look at how much saturated fat and is in certain things, they'll get confused because it'll have a small number. The reason why we want to lower our saturated fat, well, let's talk about the amount of saturated fat we should really consume a day. A maximum is 6 grams. So that's per day. Also, they're telling us to eat low carbohydrate diets. So that's, again, the opposite of what science says. So a low carbohydrate diet would track with eating more meat and dairy, right? So it's a little bizarre, and we're going to go over this a little bit more. So the US dietary guidelines never reflected healthy eating. Let's just put that into perspective. Now, the new guidelines they did have different members, and the new administration just got rid of them. They put their own people in there that they wanted to choose. These were 9 hand-picked members. 8 were tied to industry. So these industries include the meat and dairy industry, pharmaceutical companies, low-carb Atkins companies, and General Mills. Now, General Mills has a whole bunch of different foods that they promote, cereals and bars and stuff like that. But check this out, on General Mills' homepage, if you go to their website, on their homepage, they're promoting, front and center is their epic, thank you, their epic beef protein bar. So this tracks, doesn't it? It sounds pretty gross to me. But so if we have these industries making decisions, it makes sense that they're going to want meat and dairy at the top, because that means that their business will make more money. Okay, you're thinking, well, what about the pharmaceutical companies? Why are they on board with this? Well, their job is to make money. They're a business. Well, if people are well, they're not going to be taking pills. If people are sick, they're going to continue taking cholesterol-lowering medication. They're going to continue taking diabetes medication, and all sorts of other medications. So this is profit-driven. It's not necessarily, oh, this is being evil, although we can debate that. But this is about industry making decisions, and that's what we do not want. And what's also interesting is if you look at the new funky pyramid, whole grains are at the bottom. If you look at the old pyramid, they were encouraging whole grains. Now they're at the bottom. What's up with that, right? So whole grains are like quinoa, rice, whole grain bread, whole grain pasta. So now they have those at the bottom of the pyramid. So the reason why, when people eat more whole grains, they eat less animal protein. And beans aren't even on that list at all. And beans are really high in fiber, and we want more fiber. The more fiber we have in our gut, the more it heals our gut. And fiber is amazing. It not only converts to short chain fatty acids that have a whole bunch of really amazing things. It helps heal us, but it also grabs onto the cholesterol and it takes it and says, out of here. All right, so if we follow the new dietary guidelines, this might happen. More heart attacks, more strokes, more cancer diagnosis, more diabetes, more obesity, more autoimmune disease, more early onset dementia, because remember, it's a vascular disease, and more birth defects like spina bifida. Because people won't be consuming folate, which is from some fruits and leafy green vegetables. And if they're avoiding processed foods, which are enriched with folate, we're going to have more birth defects. This is very, very alarming. So let's talk about which foods lower cholesterol. Fruit, beans, lentils, soy, oats, veggies, even yummy sweet potatoes. So these foods lower cholesterol. And why? Any guesses?
Fiber.
Yes, they're high in fiber and low in fat and zero cholesterol. Yeah, you're eating the healthier foods which fill you up. You're not going to eat as much calories. And just think about when you eat a steak, when you eat it up, cut it up, it's a small portion. It's like this. But if I eat a big salad, it's like bigger than my entire stomach. And I'm full for a couple hours. Lots of fiber. Okay, so this explains why a low-fat vegan diet lowers cholesterol. It's low in fat, it's high in fiber, and it contains zero cholesterol. The only forms of cholesterol are in animal products. And we as humans make all the cholesterol we need. We do not need to eat cholesterol. So you may not believe it. You may disregard everything that I said. And in the past, you wonder, wait, who to listen to, right? So I tried, if you read my book, The High Five Diet, you can see all the different diets I tried to try to heal my gut and all my medical problems and lose weight. I tried everything. So I decided I'm going to try this diet for myself. It sounds wonderful. I love carbs. I'm a big carbivore. Did I just make something up? Maybe. So I ate a zero cholesterol, low fat vegan diet. And I did have high cholesterol at the time, even though I was thin and exercised all the time. I lowered my LDL cholesterol 42 points. 42 points with diet alone. And to give you an example of what I ate, it was really easy foods to prepare. Oatmeal with berries and some walnuts. For lunch, maybe a veggie stir fry with air fried tofu. And I just bought from the store a marinade or barbecue sauce, threw it in the microwave, and just tossed it with the tofu. Absolutely delicious. For dinner, I would eat something like a black bean soup with baked tortilla chips. For my dessert, oftentimes, I would make a chocolate dairy-free milkshake. And how to make it super easy. A couple frozen bananas, break it up, put it in the blender with a cup of almond milk, 2 tablespoons of cacao powder, and sometimes I would add a tablespoon of peanut powder. So very low in fat, super delicious. Okay, so we know we need to lower our LDL cholesterol, and they found recently the lower the better. So even if you have a really your doctor gives you a thumb up and says your cholesterol is at a good level, we still want to see if we can lower it a little bit more. So that's why people on statins, they might have cholesterol levels in the teens. And some people are freaking out, but they found out that, again, lower is better. Ideal is lower than 50. So we want our LDL lower than 50. So there are things we can add to our diet. So there's all sorts of different tricks. So don't worry about all the different ones I'm going to talk about today. You can try one of these. So I'm going to give you a bunch of options. One, who likes Brazil nuts? Yes. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Now this information is based on published studies. So at the beginning of the month, you can try this. Eat 4 yummy Brazil nuts all at once. And your LDL cholesterol should lower by 20%. But what you want to do before trying any of these, get your LDL cholesterol checked. Just get the full panel. So you want to find out what your starting point is. And at the end of 30 days, get it rechecked because we are all different. Now, for me, whenever I eat anything that's high in fat, with a few exceptions, which I'll go over, but for my body, if I eat nuts or seeds of any kind, my cholesterol will rise. So pick one, get it tested, see if it works for you. If it doesn't work, if it doesn't change, don't add it to your diet. So some of these tips may raise your cholesterol, some might not do anything at all, and some might lower it. So another option you have is to eat only 1 tablespoon of black soybeans a day. Now you get these in a can, they're unsalted, they're hard to find. So you could try that 1 tablespoon of black soybeans. I just threw it in my smoothie. I didn't taste it all. I think they're disgusting, these black soybeans. Tracy doesn't mind it, but she's got a more open palate. Yeah. Yes, yeah, black soybeans. So they're different. Eden brand, correct. Rinse them. They are very gelatinous in them. Yeah. So they found this can lower your cholesterol by 14 points. Pretty amazing. There's also a supplement called Majucol. So it's like mod, like is modulate whole cholesterol. So I bought this, and you can't get it at the supermarket. You can't get it at your typical supplement store. So you just buy it online and see if it works for you. This can lower your LDL by 17 points. The other thing you can do is add 1.5 cup of artichoke hearts a day, every day. And I love artichoke hearts. I make sure they're not in oil and no salt.
I was just saying, I put them in my tacos. I put them with black beans, had a really nice texture, salsa, spices.
Yeah, I love artichoke hearts. I can just eat them right out of the can. They're delish, yeah. So, but the artichoke hearts, 1/2 cup of artichoke hearts every day for these results of 17-point drop. It's over 3 months. So this one takes a little bit longer. So you want to get your cholesterol checked again after 3 months. Or you can do 2 medium apples with the skin on. So if you're going to keep the skin on, make sure you're getting organic apples. Of course, clean it. Or this is great. We're right by, I think there's a Trader Joe's nearby. You can get 12 dried apple rings a day, and either may lower your LDL cholesterol by 24%. And I love these dried apple rings. They're super yummy. No sugar. Or you can try 1/3 of a teaspoon of amla. Now that is an Indian berry. It's very bitter, it's sour, and it's kind of yucky. But, amla, A like apple, M like Mary, L like laughter, A like apple. So I've tried amla and I don't like it, but there is a brand of amla that I like. It's a tea. It's called Amla Green. amlagreen.com, and you can buy that and you can just put that in your smoothie, and then it doesn't taste bad. So amla can lower your LDL cholesterol by 30 points, but it takes about 3 months to take effect. So almond does not help my cholesterol lower at all, but what it did do is it helped lower my blood sugar. And I have type 1 diabetes, and so I have to take several units less insulin because I take this one powder. So what that means, it's helping my entire body become healthier and more resilient. Or you can try a half a teaspoon of sumac. Sumac, S-U-M-A-C. This will lower your LDL by up to 9 points. And this is a very interesting spice. It's like a magenta color, kind of darker than my top. This tastes pretty good over berries, but it is very strong, and that can lower your LDL by 9 points. Or you can try lemon balm powder. Now, not lemon balm tea, it's the powder. This can lower it by 13 points. Or you can try a third of a teaspoon of summer savory. This is an herb, and you can put this in your salad. Some of these things are kind of hard to find. I had difficulty finding this, but this can lower your cholesterol by 27 points. That's pretty impressive. Another hard ingredient to find is barberries. 2 tablespoons, only 2 tablespoons a day, can lower your LDL by up to 18 points. You can try psyllium powder. That's P-S-Y-L-L-I-U-M. Only 1 teaspoon, but you do need to take this 3 times a day with water, and this will lower your LDL 16 points. I tried psyllium, and it is nasty. It is, it kind of tastes like, yeah, it's just gross. I tried it. I was like holding my nose. It doesn't smell, but it's just, I can't tolerate it. So that one's not for me. You make bread out of it. Very cool. All right. Or you can try a 1/4 teaspoon of black cumin. I bought this. It's hard to taste, so which is good. So I sprinkle that on pretty much everything. Actually, even put it on my salad. Or 3 tablespoons of ground flax. So you get flax seeds, whole grain flax seeds. You grind them right before you're going to eat it. The reason why is these oils, these omega-3 super healthy oils in flax seeds, denigrate very quickly. So you don't want them to go rancid. So don't buy the powdered flax seeds. Grind it fresh. I just bought a separate coffee grinder, and I put that in there, grind it up, and then I toss it usually on top of my salad. Or you can put it in your smoothie. It thickens it up. And the really cool thing about flax seeds, I consider this a superfood. It helped me lose belly fat, and it helped me with heal my autoimmune conditions. You can even put it on your skin. You can put it on your face. You can put it on your arms. Whatever you put on your body gets absorbed. So if you cannot tolerate the flax seed, you can take the flax oil either by mouth. You can put it on your body too. It's a little greasy, but if you can put it on your face at night or even on your lips, and in the morning, your skin will look amazing.
But the oil is even more unstable.
Tracy's totally right. So what you want, if you do decide to get the flaxseed oil, you want to get cold pressed. It's refrigerated, it's in glass, and it's certified organic. Okay. All right, let's summarize today's presentation. We want our LDL as low as possible to reduce all sorts of incidents of strokes and diabetes and heart attacks.
Data shows that your ratio of your LDL to HDL is even more important than your actual LDL level, and even just exercising or being active can improve that ratio.
So they found that they used to tell people you want your HDL as high as possible. So what the HDL and LDL they kind of track together. So the higher the LDL, the higher the HDL. So now they realize that HDL really, we need not worry about it. So when you have a low LDL, your HDL is going to be lower.
But people have different ratios of their HDL to LDL, and everybody's
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some people naturally have high cholesterol, but they don't have any calcifications and things like that because everybody has different genetics and different history.
Right.
Your LDL and HDL ratio also matter a lot,
And
being active also decreases your LDL.
so
And improves that ratio.
it's really important to keep the LDL as low as possible, regardless of anything else. They just know that the higher the LDL, the higher the chance of diabetes, heart disease, stroke. And exercise can, in some cases, lower the LDL. But the reason why is because people are usually the more active people are, the more conscious they are about what they're eating. They're eating less because they're eating less meat and cheese because they found runners who are very, very lean. They exercise a ton. They may be skinny. They've had heart attacks and strokes, and because they're eating their low carb diet. Okay, so the reason why we don't want to just take drugs to lower our LDL is the side effects. One of the side effects is kidney failure. That's not good. We want to avoid foods that contain cholesterol. We want to avoid foods that have oils. I'm not saying be absolutely crazy because I do go out to restaurants that are vegan and all of them pretty much have oils in it. So I just make it infrequent, and I just know that if I make it a little more frequent, I gain more belly fat. Not good. We want to eat more foods that have fiber. We want to eat a minimum of 50 grams of fiber a day. The more the better. So our ancestors, they were eating over 100 grams of fiber a day, which is insane. I certainly can't do that. I can't eat that many calories for one. I would be stuffed. So yeah, and the food that's really high in fiber, which I love, are beans, black beans specifically. So I like making my chocolate smoothie that I mentioned before, and I add black beans to it, and I don't taste it. It just makes it nice and creamy. So, and yeah, that's an option if you want to try that. And fiber is also important because if we don't eat fiber, you will increase your chances of constipation and increase chances of polyps and cancer. And people will say, I tried eating fiber, it doesn't work for me. One, you need to add water. You need to drink more fluids because you can eat a whole bunch of fiber and everything's just stuck. You're going down a slide, you need the water to push you over. So yeah, lots of water. The amount of water we should be drinking is way more than everyone's drinking. Take your weight, your ideal weight, convert that to ounces. So I weigh like 96 pounds, so I really should be drinking 96 ounces of water a day. I don't always get that because I have my fruit smoothie, which is high in water content. I'll have soups high in water content. So if you have foods that are a nice and high in water content, you don't have to drink as much water, which is nice. And so the other key factor, we're just summarizing, we want to keep our total fats low. We want to keep our fats ideally at no more than 10% of our total daily calories. If you are pre-diabetic or diabetic, you want to keep your fats at no more than 30 grams of fat per day. That's total fat. And so an idea is 10 grams of fat per meal 3 times a day would be 30 grams of fat. So some days, some meals, your fat might be lower, and then you add a snack, and then over time, so it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfection here. We want to try to limit our saturated fat to 6 grams per day. We do need saturated fat in our diets. I have heard people, in the Mastering Diabetes program saying don't eat saturated fats. That's impossible. Saturated fats are in everything. They are in, you know, you've got fat in bananas and blueberries, and greens have saturated fat. The thing is, we just want to keep our fats low and not go crazy. Okay, and then the healthy fats, let's talk about those. Flax seeds are super healthy in fat. The fats that do not cause you to gain weight, but may cause your cholesterol to rise, are flax seeds, chia seeds, and avocados. So who has heard of Dr. Brooke Goldner here? So we've Dr. Brooke Goldner, we've got 3 people. So Dr. Brooke Goldner has an autoimmune protocol. It's actually a plant-based raw vegan diet that's kind of high on the fat side. But what she found is you can eat unlimited amount of avocados and up to a cup of flaxseed per day and lose weight. So I did her protocol. I did it for 3 years and I stayed thin. I could eat as many avocados as I wanted, and I was eating up to a cup of flax seeds a day. And those were whole flax seeds. And my cholesterol was a little bit higher than because I was eating more fat, but I was able to stay a healthy weight. And it also helped lower my blood sugar, which is kind of interesting. So enjoy your avocados. So I am available for coaching if you want my help, if you know somebody who is looking for coaching. I have a book called The High Five Diet we talked about, and it has my favorite recipes. Now they're all low-fat, plant-based, 0 cholesterol, and no oil. And they're all high fiber. All right, any other questions? So I just contact my doctor and I say, hey, I want a cholesterol test, and he's like, whatever test you want, as long as it's, they'll approve it. If it's a unique test, like I got some of my tests that I get are unique. So like the diabetes antibody test, I had to go to a certain lab. But yeah, I just asked my doctor, and he does the panel, that has the LDL, the HDL, the triglycerides. So